Fambulema bring warm greetings to now, massive greetings from the TNN TV media empire. Today, on the 3rd of April, 2023, me with the talk to now, where they present this program. I'm in Prince Emil Chroma, of course, a familiar face on the platform. The matters them way with the remote pan, they are really serious and they should be taken seriously. We admonish every Sierra Leonean for do take these issues very, very seriously. Today, your broadcast now on we international airport, the Lungi International Airport. The last time we do a part 1 to RAM, and today we do a follow-up to the part 1. We want to look at the cost and benefit analysis. So this not to only pan talk, boku talk. No, this is reality. Because we the champion or pair these things, peg them, plug them with figures and guesstimates and estimates and you name it. So we want for everyone to follow along with the platform tonight on this particular very important topic of the Lungi International Airport, 300 million and still counting, whether it's worth it, money worth it. This is not the estimate where we do on the platform here today. So I ask una those of una we don't join now. Of course, we are 1 hour late, and I want to sincerely apologize for that. When you do serious programs of this kind, you have to make sure say you get your facts them correct. Not just they come blab na media. No, get for make sure say the facts are correct. So I can tell you, say I don't work on this for the last several days, including today, and it's not just before they go live. Hence why I keep for delay the program. So please help for share the program. And this now the TNN TV Media Empire platform. Once more, today, now the 3rd of April, 2023. Me where they talk to and I'm in Prince Emil Chroma. Please don't touch that dial as they come with real analysis. Countdown. Come on now. So like I say, when I continue for all right, family, once more, I bring massive greetings to you from the TNN TV Media Empire. Today, the 3rd of April, 2023, me when they talk to one another, I'm Prince Emil Chroma, and one top issues pertaining to the Lungi International Airport. And that's when I can see the title. Doesn't really matter. It does matter, by the way. But in terms of we guesstimate we want for make, speculations based on circumstances, facts, and documentation, we want for say 300 million is money too much spent on an airport where supposedly supposed for cost less. This now the submission here on this particular program this evening. So if una can recall some time ago, we do a cost and benefit analysis showing tables, graphs, potentially waiting I don't do. So we before I go, because we've been promised that we will continue with the second part, and there was supposed to be a third part because it's a huge document, not huge as per se, but just the breaking down of it, very important. So there are a couple of things where I want to do before I go further from USA. I've been left from the last time, so if una can just bear with me. The last time what we actually do was we do a cost analysis on the first part, and then probably few things that were not explained right. Everything they said was right, but because we want to let everybody have a grasp of the issue, so we decide again for polish up that first part will be present about I think this is the second week, and we promise we will come with the second part and potentially the third part. We continue for delay. But that first part, what basically we do was we total cost analysis of the Lungi International Airport. Okay. So let's see whether we can do this tidy up what they talk about. I want to begin with the runway. In part one of that presentation, we talk about a runway where from a research I do, just basic research. Any of you know where they watch it now. If you not just Google runway, you will see something like 6,000 feet. But when I know say the conversion table, I think we're very, very important. Yeah, feet from meters, from miles, from kilometers, they are all got differences. And in terms of measurement, we get for understand say for use the appropriate measurement under the metric system. It's very important depending on which you talk about. So that 6,000 feet to do, even though it's incorrect, but in terms of we conversion, it's fine for that we understand a few things. So let me do a conversion from feet to meters. Let's do some conversion from feet to meters. Remember, I say the last time we talked about 6,000 feet. So that 6,000 feet there, we want to convert feet to meters. And when we convert feet to meters in terms of the 6,000 feet, what we do have Fambulem is something like about 3,000 meters. So you see from feet to meters, so it's almost half. So 6,000 feet for the runway which I mentioned, and now upon conversion turn to 3,000 feet, or 3,000 meters, or approximately, let's say about 3,800 of that conversion. What I don't do so now. What I've been talking earlier on me say there was an excess of 3,800 remaining meters. So waiting be left for that estimates that guesstimates they were being given from Bulem. Now in the use for cover the taxiing area for the plane them, and then the car park and other areas them. Remember say airport are considered to be something like complex or complexes. Just like stadium, for example. First they would build stadium, I forgot kick football no more. But now when they build stadium, it consists of many parts, hence a complex. That's why they call it a complex. You get Dansoli under, you get Bay under, you get Sauna under, you get Bafi under, Jimmy under, and things like that. So all them parts that they were left in terms of that conversion where we do 3,800 remaining meters now in the use for cover places like the car park and other major areas around the airport. When they come to something, I hope when they follow, and I have to go a little bit slowly. And I go ask Kuna once more again for share the program, please, if you will. We also, I go also like for clarify that about 4 million meters square of area. Now in then use waiting we call asphalt. Of course, that's the English term, but we see Union them from what we small what they come up with, we can call an a coal tar, but they call an asphalt or bitumen if you like. So about 4 million meter square area now in the cover. And this include which I talked about earlier on, where will be the taxiing area, the runway area, the car park, and other parts them around this complex where we refer to as the airport. For do this, what they actually do was use, as per my estimate, 12,500 grams of coal tar. And the coal tar now been talked about earlier on. This line we call asphalt or bitumen, aka coal tar. That's how we call them. That's what we sabi and from always small. So if they use 12,500 worth of coal tar, drums of coal tar, at a cost per drum of $400 per drum, and one drum don't cover 320 meters square of space. I hope una dey follow. Let me repeat this. For cover all the areas them along the airport, around the airport, along the airport, including the runway, the car park, and other areas then will require to be covered by coal tar. Me own estimate say 12,500 drums of coal tar was used, and every drum of this coal tar, it cost approximately 400 United States dollars. This $400, if we multiply by 12 times 12,500 drums, which apparently was used, then we will come to the total very soon. But I equally want for let fumble and know, because in this calculation we are due, and this presentation what they do, I want to be methodic. I want to be, very conservative with me figure them straightforward and present numbers, the equivalent conversion tables, size, length, and corners, so that at least me and you, when they watch the program, when they go side by side, line by line, so you they get them clearly. So one drum they cover 320 meters square of area pan that airport day. So we they say if 12,500 drum of coal tar na in the use, okay, for cover all this area, then we then cover 12,500 drums, almost 13,000 drums. And this, like I say again, I'm being very conservative with figures, and throughout this presentation, in terms of guesstimate, I am going to be really conservative. When if necessary, but there's a lot of it. Kaba, wow, I haven't seen you in a long time. Thanks for tuning in and watching. It's a pleasure, sir. So this 12,500 quota don't give you about 4 million meters square. It involves a lot of mathematics and calculations. And the reason why this kind of thing can put people them off, and that include myself. So you see why we keep the postpone them, because you get for do your calculations, and you get for make sure say you right. You got your thumb on the pulse, you got your thumb on the issue itself, because it involves all these calculations and conversions. And quick, it don't put me off. And I must confess, including myself, I'm not a science stream student, not good in maths. Of course, basics, absolutely, of course. So it takes a while for you figure this out. So you see the reason now why we talk say one drum cover 320 meters square. So 12,500 drums of coal tar we approximately use equal to 4 million meters square. If you convert 4 million meters square, waiting down there will give you is 680 meters. Let we convert that to meter square. Now 680 meters. Now that will total by. That is if we multiply by 60 meters. It's a little bit confusing, but if you stay with me and listen keenly, you will get it. And it's important for let we get this because now so they can take the movie. Say airport cost 270 million. In fact, parliamentary document where we go show on this program today, shows that the airport is 300 million and counting. 300 million, we keep the talk about 270. So with all of these estimates, just Pankolta alone, we believe say $5 million now in 12,500 $5 million, pardon me. Okay, 12,500 drums of colta at $400 a drum, at $400 a drum. As we can see now, when we multiply that by the 12,500 drums at $400 per drum, what Igiwi is $5 million. I want you guys to stay with me because gradually, if you get pen and paper, it will fine for let you take note as well, not just listen, because I might miss something and you might want to correct me. But here it is. $5 million now in that 12,500 drum of colta don't really cost. As I be also saying at part one, the runway we are termed as 6,000 feet. If we take the 6,000 feet and we plug it into meter, the equivalent we go commodity, and they talk about conversion, it go give you something like 3,000 meters. And the meter, now the equivalent, the 3,000 meter we commodity, now the equivalent for the longest runway. The longest runway. Runways are not more than 1.5 miles. And for like you say 3 miles of runway, imagine inside the plane they go turn. And I'm not making any of this up. We can check this up now, things the way we all can get access to. Let me give Fambulem an idea of waiting at the try for say in terms of the construction of this runway and the alleged cost from the government circle stroke SUMA construction. If we are all remember not too long ago, of course we should, except early dementia don't begin to sink in. It been there in some people in favor, either deliberately or not deliberately, but propaganda was rife. When the former government of Ernest Bai Koroma been the build roads, if we remember, and I'm sure you guys do, they say Ernest been spend $1 million on every mile of road. On every mile of road, Ernest been spend at least $1 million. Where you see something, the truth knocking there far away. Now it make it can find for do a thorough analysis of issues of our time. And especially so when you get something for do with we well-being, the future of the country, and you name it. Now, if we calculate or factor 5 miles, remember I say in a runway, when they talk about 3 miles, and for fen a runway, win at 3 miles, Padimani at, not even the US Air Force with them massive cargo plane, or we go need a distance, here for pickup speed, because that's the whole idea, within a physical realm. For run, pickups, do a turn, warm up the engine, pick up steam, and then elevate. 3 miles is just too much. Okay? 3 miles is just too boku. Now we say we calculation, we factor 5 miles, even though I don't think say 5 miles airport day, and I doubt 3 miles airport. 1.5 mile, 2 mile maybe, yeah. So when we break down the meters to mile, I sure say it make people and get a little bit of a grasp as I see people and they give thumbs up, which means that there are people kind of following, and I'm sure I'm breaking it down rightfully. For now, okay, I've been to talk about, let me look at small kuku jumuku, small gossip. Oh, no, can normally do here, especially if we do serious presentation. But again, it is true that not too long ago, people say the roads way and the Escoma they construct 1 mile for a mile of road, equivalent to almost 1 million. And just imagine the miles and miles of road construction that was done. And then the money where we know say be available. And then you try for factor or figure this out yourself, whether a sum up, whether it equal to. Having said this, like I say again, if we break down the meter to mile and make formula for understand. Now the size of the structure, normally we see Alionians them, we know this because why? Famulem are famulem, we all know famulem. The size of the structure now can wow we, that wow factor. Oh, 6-story, 10-story, and we quick for make guesstimates about things, yeah, without doing with due diligence, because we can. You don't have to be the owner of a building or project for let you have an estimate. And of course, we do that a lot, but I talk about professional estimate. Now, I make you get professional people, such as quantity surveyors, such as structural engineers. These people are academics in these fields and can determine a thing or two about waiting you want for understand. Fabul, and the numbers are growing, and they ask again, don't be selfish. Please continue to share the program. We want to generate more numbers. This is quite important. So this structure, then like where they build stadium. Of course, if you don't see mega structures before, you would be wowed. And that wow factor there, now with politicians they can use for express corruption of a magnitude way beyond what any one of us can think. Because they know say the wow factor is there. Sometimes they can build an empty shed. When I say empty shed, just a big, sort of structure, but a high, in terms of meters, in terms of length, in terms of width. It's big, but there's nothing. The materials used, now iron them. Now they use metal sheets and what have you. That's what they use. Anyway, back to the airport thing. So because the structure is magnificent, let's be honest, it's a magnificent structure. Airports normally are magnificent in their style, grace, structure, and design and desire. But they do come at a cost. Not normally what we have been told, but this has been used like the shiny object on the hill. Light canonet. Wonderful. The people of Lungi are extremely happy. They're not getting light too, or even if they get light. But the idea, you get this complex with all these lights of various shades and kinds and colors. Of course, in the human mind, that's something else. And these are facts. It plays on the mindset, on the intelligence of people, and especially those we not know. And this might cost far less, and we go counter that because part of this wow factor, now the shiny thing at the hill, which at night it they illuminate, it they glitter, it they shine like a moon in a dark night. And of course, everybody is attracted to a moon, the rays of the moon, in a dark night, where they illuminate the ground, the atmosphere. It's a huge thing. It's a huge factor. But inside this analysis, we will try for broken down, waiting make it a shine so, and waiting apparently is the cost. But as we go towards that lily, I've been also one for touch about cement and block. Those of you guys we don't construct buildings them before, and they talk about private buildings of yours. Some of you could be contractors, some of you could be homeowners, and then construct them from scratch up. So you spend money on cement, on sand, and what have you. Very important of the airport. You get for look at the structure, how the structure turn. Because the reason why I mentioned you as being a homeowner or don't participate on such a project before, you go no say, we person one for TFU, let's put it on our local standard. We person really want for TFU, that's exactly what in a side and able for TFU from the estimates they are. Because why? This not their own trick, this not their own trade, this not waiting sabi. So Usa is supposed to put 10 bag of cement, he overestimate and I put 20, sometimes for good reasons, because professionally, you can for make overestimate on some goods them, because you might just go overboard. So you put a little bit of more, you inflate the material. The bad thing about it is if you don't end up for use them, you need for return them. But of course, it's not returned. But in this case, what we really talk about is you talk about cement and blocks. So let me do some breakdown if we can. And whilst I say this, we are throwing a challenge to the government, and rightfully so. Remember, we're not just doing this out of malicious intent, out of smearing, but out of patriotism, out of love for country, out of civic responsibility, out of constitutional obligation that we should hold our leaders to account. The issue here is there has to be some degree of accountability. That's the point. So we say, if we not dispute them figures there, you might overlook if you want to. Of course, it's easy for you to look the other way, but that not mean say this is going away, because Sierra Leoneans are going to get this. They're going to get this. It can take a while, but the message definitely is going to spread, because why? It's a message of truth. The intent here is one of truth. So, if una can produce their receipt for counter, we claim them, that will be fine. I mean, what a honorable thing for do. A honorable thing. So these people keep lying on government name. Here are the receipts. Here are the invoices. But back to what we say. Let's not forget, first of all, the background of all this accountability talk. The Auditor General was sacked. Then nobody not tell you saying a suspension. He might use this fine word suspension, because there are no job security, no job guarantee, no laws where they protect your job. They can just fire you willy-nilly. Not too long ago, they told us that the Auditor General has been suspended for lack of thereof. Some flimsy, ridiculous charge. Tribunal to be set up and not meet the threshold. Over 1 year and counting. Lara Taylor Pierce is gone. And those of us with critical minds, and because we get the benefit of hindsight as well, just make we conclude, say, oh, now because of this, so you don't want to account to the Sierra Leonean people for things that actually belong to the Sierra Leonean people. You really don't want to account for things of that nature. So now, certain offices are exempt from auditing. So you see motive, you see intent. This, if you mean in a court, that's what a judge will be looking at. Why was she fired? Was there an intent? Who fired her? Why potentially she could have been fired? And we see that clearly now. And then we get $300 million airports that we talk about. We don't do the broke down. We find out, see, is 5 times less than the cost given to the Sierra Leonean people. And the worst thing is, the project is owned by others for 25 years, where the value potentially will have diminished. Although they expect property, them, you have to appreciate, and especially an airport. But the deal is one of the worst deals in history. So produce the invoices for counter the claims. But of course, we no longer have Madame Lara Taylor Pierce. No longer. Now, when we do a calculation for 5 million blocks, let me return to the subject matter. Now, forgive me for digressing. I will digress a lot because this is quite important. When we do a calculation for 5 million blocks, we get them at a cost of almost 2.5 million. Almost 2.5 million for 5 million blocks. And una no say 5 million blocks, not a picking block. Now, make us say we'll be very conservative. Some of these things we blow them out of proportion in the sense that we double either the cost or the material just for silence the naysayers, the doubting Thomases. 5 million block. If you ever get chance, do your calculation and see what 5 million blocks can build. For laden block, then we look at 125,000 bag of cement. That's the guesstimate I believe say then use. And how did we arrive at this? You figure out, say, if you calculate, if you know, say, one bag cement, obviously they produce about 40 blocks. One bag cement, they produce about 40 blocks. And when they talk about 5 million blocks, so you don't see that can come up for some student them. You talk about 5 million blocks. And you talk about 125,000 bags of cement. And every one single bag they produce 40 block, and you get 5 million block. So when you do all of that calculation, now there you get almost 2.5 million, 2,456,000 and 2,500. That's what you have. So we also look at plastering. So for plastering, we factor inside we calculation 135,000 bags of cement. But what I want for left family and bear in mind in terms of this kind of structure we talk about is that you can actually see that for let it consume this number of blocks and therefore cement or cement and then block, it's going to be difficult or non-existent at all. But like I say again, out of conservatism, we give the benefit of the doubt. And the reason why I say it wouldn't take all of this cement and block them when we talk about 5 million block. If it was just the structure by itself, just cement and blocks and what have you, for plaster inside out, gone here and there, then obviously it would make absolute sense. But in this case, a large chunk of the structure, the way it is designed, it's not about cement and blocks. It's about glass. It's about metals. It's about iron rod. But all of this will factor on back. And remember this also come into the cost. So we've been generous here that if it were used, but here is the cost. So it did inside the cost. So nobody who can say, well, what about the cement? What about the block them? What about the this? What about the that? No, we don't factor on it. And we come up with 5 million blocks. We're not to picking low down there. But 5 million block family, we know say for some reason it's just too much, and especially as per the design of the structure. How many side them una think say them plaster inside it? Because there's no requirement for plastering a significant side of that structure there. Because of the design, like I say again, glass, iron, and metal sheets. That's what it is. So let's come to iron rod. Inside the iron rod, we price them at $2.7 million. Now, so we price the iron rod where with the guesstimate say was used. Then guesstimate they are, of course, based on professional basis. Definitely get for make that clear to the audience. Based on professional basis. The way how we arrive at $2.7 million for the iron rod is because we guesstimate say approximately 5,000 tons of iron rod was used. 5,000 tons of iron rod was used. And we cost a ton of iron rod at 550 dollars per ton. $550 per ton of iron rod. So if we multiply that by 5,000 tons, which we believe was used, it obviously gives $2.7 million. That's what it gave us, approximately $2.750 million. So 2.75 million. I hope somebody get pen and paper where they factor the number there, because this is about number game. If they tell we say it costs 3 million, well, we they try for say, well, apparently this is why it cost 300 million, or this is why it not cost 300 million. So iron rod is priced at 2.7 million at 5,000 tons of iron rod apparently used in that structure, the airport structure, putting iron rod from market value at $550 per ton. Again, the figures here are bloated just for absorb any shock. We not believe say there will be a shock, because these were the prices on the market when the report was done, with a figure that is bloated for accommodate time and anything where somebody else want for say. But even with this number, let's be honest, it's way over the mark. It's in excess. And what I want for let we do again, family, I want for let we bear in mind, let not just argue for argument's sake. We need for actually listening and taking. I mean, you can critique, but remember, say you get for make sure say you know what they come with in terms of the criticism, because we are well prepared. I am well prepared presenting a program. Well prepared, because I don't do my due diligence. Now, I talked earlier on about the shiny thing na the hill. The thing where they wow people, especially at night. The illumination of the moon is certainly about life. It get effect both on land and at sea. Ask the astrologer them and other people them. They will tell you what a full moon means. A shiny moon, especially on a dark night. And can I just juxtapose or contrast this statement with the shiny thing on the hill, in this case, the airport. Lungi is dark. And you've got this airport, at night, you see in sheer brilliance, because the lights are on. People are excited. It's like, wow, this is brilliant. Psychologically, people don't remember the cost again. They don't really care about cost. If they even care, they don't even have that time. And if they have that time, not time enough, here to make these calculations that way we did do. Because why? It should be of concern to us. We as citizens, we're not supposed to be big fool. Not to everything we for swallow, hook, line, and sinker, even though we get great respect for government. But it's a shared thing. Government respects its people, when at the electorate, and the electorate respect government in kind. It's a kind of social contract. So what thing we do look at is the solar panel, which na in the use. Family, what we need for now, let me break this down. Is solar panels, then they quantify solar panel by megawatts. Sometimes you can just see the short in form, MW. That's solar panels. Very interesting form of energy. And energy where they derive from the sun, the rays of the sun. And this is why sometimes it bothers me that such technology exists, in which for just keep them concurrent, we don't need for do much, because the thing where they give them in power, we get them in abundance. We don't pay for it. It comes out for something like probably 8-9 hours a day. And if we can use this technology for absorb the rays of the sun, for generate energy into them solar system there, because in your food now the sun, which we have plenty of, then you wonder why up till now we're not able to solve the issue of electricity or power at 50%. But that's for another day. We will talk about this another day. But in other words, the thing where they power the electricity or energy in the airport, now solar panels, now in the use. And for quantify solar panel, now by megawatts, MW for short. So I see MW come to power or electricity, now megawatts, that's what I mean. Megawatts now something where then they convert back into wattage. So I remember where we go pay a bill is like almost watts where you get here and almost watts where you burn and things like that. I think that's how it's measured for pay you bill. So what we do understand and know after basic research is 1.800 megawatt is equal to 1,800,000 watts. For every 1.800 megawatts is equal to 1,800,000 watts. Let me just pause for effect so that sinks in. And I hope say family and they follow. But this is important for let we follow. This is not just talk. This is talk with substance. This is talk about a nation. This is talk about politicians. This is talk about independence. This is talk about principle. This is talk about integrity. This is talk about uprightness. This is talk about, morals, the principles, respect. This is what it is about. Not one of those cheap talks on social media. So the reason why family need for know why would they cover why would they convert megawatts to watts? Now, because of the way our solar panel then they sell them now the international market. For example, if you were to go to Alibaba right now, you go see exactly what they talk about. These are things, and they provide references as well along the way. Not all of it, but are things that way you can just do basic research, basic search, Google search, and you will find this. But we've used far more than that. This is not just basic, far more than that for arrive where we are. So will they tell you the reason why then they convert megawatts into watts? Because now so then they sell the panel them at the international market. Be it Amazon, be it eBay, be it Alibaba, one of the biggest, Alibaba. So then they sell every watt at 30 cents. 30 cents. Now, so then they sell what? And this now the importance. You see, these people, they're not advancing in things they are for quite a long time, and everything is seriously programmed. So it's like, now he make this report is valid, and I can't see anybody disputing this, because now careful study now present this report. You the bill a house. Now, two-story house you want. You get for begin from the foundation. So estimates has to be made as opposed to the load way this house they can hold. So again, it goes back to architectural drawing. Waiting at the drawing say, oh, you go get 3 bedroom downstairs and 6 bedroom upstairs and 2 bathroom yonder and etc. So therefore, the other professionals then we can in go able to make a potential design for whole that two-story day based on the foundation. But to guesswork, you don't estimate the 4 corners, the beam, the pillars, and you name it. This is how it works, and this is how you get the estimate, because you don't know the material and where you get for use. You now go to the market for go get the material, and the market is there, and they are priced. The goods are there. You know almost a bag of cement. You know almost bag cement you want for your project. You know almost a pan. You know almost an iron rod. This is exactly what they do now, based on the project estimate, what they call the Lungi International Airport, what potentially was spent on the airport. And whilst they're telling us 300 million, we are supposing at the end of this program, say, it cost probably 5 times less. So you divide 5 into 3 million, 50 into 300. This is the 5 times less. Just broke down 300 million 5 times. Fumble, and this is serious. So this solar panel where they shine on that airport, where they wow people, where some of us, we are thankful for an airport, but we also concerned about the cost. Because why we're not big fool? We ask questions. So the solar panel, then they sell them, the watts, then they sell them 30 cents. And that's not the average, If you go check now, right now as we speak on Alibaba, let me see whether I can bring that up. Or let we move on. I think time is moving. But it's 30 cents per watt. And these are the best price where you think, say, you can find. If you convert 30 cents per watt, yeah, then remember, say earlier on, let's do this calculation quick. We talk about 1.800 watts, megawatts rather. See the conversion, I can become a little bit confusing, but stay with me. 1.800 megawatts, yeah. If you convert, I mean, it equal to 1,800,000 watts. Now, if you don't convert this into watts, because now the way then they sell solar panel, and then they sell at 30 cents per watt, which means that if you want for buy, you get for look at 30 cents, you convert that 30 cents day times 1,800,000 times. And when you do that, so 30 cents convert them, and then 1,800,000 times, it's roughly, excuse me, you go get roughly 540,000 US dollar. So now that could be the cost for a panel. Are you with me? $540,000 will be the cost for a panel. Now, you don't need to worry about solar panel energy. Now that I've been say earlier on, which left me a little bit baffled as to why up till now, with such technology way available, where say you can put at the top of your roof, and then it harness the energy of the sun during the day and can capture and store that and serve you well during the night or long after the night, which means that it can go on for a number of days, depending on the quantity, I mean the quantity as well, or the quality of the panel we buy. And 30 days will not able for harness such. So now we're getting at the airport where they wow people in. But that's the cost I've just given you, 540,000. So Naito, Deo, you don't need for worry about energy, especially for a specific fixed project, such as the airport. So 24/7 on this basis at the cost of $540,000 for a panel. I think we'll get two, we'll come to that. That gives or provides energy for the airport on a 24/7 basis. On a 24/7 basis. Because of this, the harnessing of the power of the sun, the energy of the sun into solar panel technology, of course, you don't even need a backup. You can get a backup just in case technology can fail. But with this one, it could be hard for let you feel. It's the sun come up, solar system suck the energy of the sun. Still they run and still they preserve sun. Long after the sun is gone, it continue for generate energy. Now, then solar panel they come in container shape. We need for know this. And for store 1.8 million watts of energy, based on the panel, you get for spend something like about 40 cents. I repeat, then solar panel they come in container kind shape. And for store this 1.8 million watts when we talk about, remember say you don't convert, when they talk about megawatts to watts. And for store this, it cost you roughly 40 cents. The reason why they cost a little bit higher than the 30 cents where we talk about earlier on, when about, I think about 10 cents difference was 30 cents. Now this is 40 cents, it's because in your cost, this shape container kind things, the way it come in, they sell for $720,000, which is roughly about 180,000 more Remember, say we don't say $540,000 for that cost at 30 cents, where you multiply them by 1,800,000 times. That's what it give you. But when the panel itself come, then they inside container, and because of that storage facility, in own price they up a little bit. So we cost them at $720,000 because it's 10 cents more, from 30 cents to 40 cents. Family, then let's take a quick look, because the solar panel itself, you not just the car you can hit bandong, it begin for perform. Certain ceremony and the way you need for perform. When I say ceremony, I mean connections, like you need for do some connections, do some work. So if we can take a quick look at the solar panel itself, and there's a system and installation kit where they come with. If you go back to Alibaba, you will see all of this day. Now they all man they buy from. Let's be honest, because everything where you want, he did it. So you get the cable the way they carry that cable, it don't cost something like about 200,000. Yeah, that cable where they come with. Remember, this is the ceremony they talk about for Connect, and it also gets your own how you go call them, like other gadgets them, or connections them, like a circuit kit board and things like that we get for Connect. I think then they cost roughly about 260,000. Okay, so waiting this report will indicate as at this point in time, just on this alone, it don't cost about 1.5 million. 1.5 million. And still this figure is a little bit bloated. But guess how much it cost them? 20 million. From 1.5 million. So there's an excess of over $18 million. But remember, the psychological side to this is, when it comes to energy, people are already stressed. Because it's a big issue now we can't choose how we come out. For donkey years now, when me been grow up in a salon, along with people of my age group, I mean, every time you put your switch on, the light just comes on, automatic. Then a parlor, then a room, then a bathroom, then a kitchen, the light comes on automatic. This is where we grew up. Street lights were there, street pole them, then tick pole them. Again, light. They were there. They were light at every major junction. You get them lights in there, then street light them. So now they people let me they go get a safe. Sometimes they would not come up from an affluent family or a middle class family, or can't afford them luxury. It wasn't even luxury, it was just basic. But still, some people could not afford it at the time, or for different reasons, like them I mean the way they can sell for a free bread. Then we use that lamp, under that lamp, then we can put the market. And sometimes they will come with them picking, we go deal with them for a period of time. We will use the lamp as well for study. I believe almost every home at the time didn't get electricity. I think at the mystery down, yeah, we get electricity. And at the same time, get running water. You turn your faucet on, water come out. Then a bathroom, you get your bathtub, you get your face basin. Of course, this is all new to some people, and this is why they find this, standard of life. So, of course, the standard of life don't drop in the country, and some people don't meet this. So if they come, a broad Western world, then perception become completely different. Especially if you don't see this before, you not experience them before, or it was something like miles away from you. You they see them, but they touch them and you can't use them. But yeah, so the point where I try for make Naya is, when you look at the issue of light from a psychological point of view, it get impact on the people then. So if you get a project, and before I even go to the project, just imagine at some area them, you get affluent people them way get generator. So even we lights no day, light them and family. The shortcut of this is water and light is life. Outside water day, life day. Not only about human being them, animals and insects. Water is life. Light energy is life. Now it make during the day when the sun comes up, when they come out for everybody, we all sort of equal in some sense. If I can provide a little bit perspective behind whose side they go. When the sun comes up, it's general, it's all over the place. So everybody sucks it in. But then when night comes, Now they you know the few that can and those that cannot. Because some people ain't get a generator and they go put them on. So if you did next door or far down the road, but you can see that light there, you don't place dark, but up there is light. So this thing don't stress you up and what have you, a day beyond your imagination. And now you get a massive project such as the airport, where the light now 24/7 because it's powered by solar energy. It's a big deal, but nothing extra because during the day, the solar, they harness the energy of the sun, they capture them, they store them at night, every light should be on. So yes. But then because of this, and at the point where they try for make, the cost when we get is 1.5 million, but it is costed at $20 million. Now, can you imagine? Something definitely not right. And I'm sure say family where they watch will agree with me that certain things are not right. Famulem, this is not the TNN TV Media Empire. I want to read few messages and comments, and then we will return back to take a quick break, and then return back to this broadcast. There's about 55 of us jointly watching. Can you help to share? Let me continue for share. Please don't be selfish. Even you are for or against what you have to say. This is about we country. You don't have to necessarily agree with me, but you'll find it very difficult for resist this report because if you have a counter, then that would be fine. Welcome to you, Prince Tope. So here we are, just a few comments, not really many. So first of all, you can support me by sending stars. Everybody on the internet does that. And there's nothing wrong with that for offset cost. For continue for bring program them of this kind to Una. Sending me stars does not cost much. It might be 50p, £1. This help for offset cost. Help me for bring people them. Of course, right now I'm not doing interviews deliberately, but hopefully maybe by next month, I've got many people lined up and I might start interviews. For now, I want for to do monologues. And because I schedule interview, I'm kind of tied up now and busy with different things. So I don't want to schedule an interview and then I fail Una. With monologues, I can come on anytime, although I like for put pre-announcement. So please support me. Also, will you help we for raise we standard na YouTube by subscribing? You can hit the bell because that bell, if you tap on them, thank you very much, Maureen. Maureen, I really appreciate this. 500 stars. Wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Maureen Lovejoy. I appreciate that. Many thanks. She's watching from the US, of course. Thank you so much. This help we for talk, but I know with society, it's difficult for some, because even sometimes you've got word out there, it's like you're making fun. No, this is not the case. But imagine you have to sit here. Sitting alone is time. Parting with information is important, it's costly. Now I make you see the internet, it's a huge business. Social media is a huge business. So please continue for support. Thank you so much. Thank you, Maureen, once more. Appreciate that. Saidu Timbo, wonderful idea to do a cost analysis on the said new airport. Absolutely, Saidu Timbo. Many thanks. G4, welcome TNN. Yeah, welcome G4. Many thanks for tuning in. Henry Bright, the building is full of blast. The building is full of blaster bomb. Gypsum. Of course, this is some kind of building material. So it's not this wild estimates, in terms of solid materials used, because it was more like honestly more money to put in pockets. And I guess that's what Mr. Henry Bright is trying to say. Let's see, he's got another comment. They did strong concrete pillars and plasterboard to design the inside. Okay, this back is helpful. So now, according to Mr. Henry Bright, not knows I get information from, or it could be well informed. So that's what apparently was done on the inside. So you see, all these wild estimates, now make up when they talk about cement and block. Less of this were used. So that means it cost far less. Let's go to Sister Valerie Letitia Williams. Please do your research more. The airport is not completed yet. There's going to be a 5-star hotel, a shopping mall, and Suma Group have their own cement factory. Therefore, they create their own blocks. Okay, Sister Valerie Letitia Williams, Many thanks for this information. I really do appreciate the information, and we'll factor this. And if you read earlier on, we already don't spend, I believe, 270 million. And this is what Naim we know they talk about previously. In this particular broadcast, I don't stretch them to 300 million because I don't see parliamentary document where I go like for show back on this platform. So there's an excess of, there's an extra 30 million yet to be spent, which means that maybe now the hotel and the other complex the way you talk about will come from, and then get a own cement factory. So also then get a own cement factory, Sister Letitia. Now inside Freetown or na Salon or na Turkey. I'm very interested in knowing who side they get the cement from, because that would be a giveaway as to cost if they get for transport them, and why would they use their own cement? Is it special? Is it only for airport building, or not the same cement we get in the country? I would like for know. But many thanks for that. I appreciate that. George Orwell, a regular listener to the show, a very friend to this platform. Many thanks, George. Hi there. Sister Letitia again. Okay, there's a follow-up. They built a number of new buildings too, a new police station, a new presidential suite, a new river taxi station, a new fire station, a new cargo building, a new tower, a new residence for staff building the site. Okay. I don't even know who side for start from, but this is good and pertinent information. Luckily for me, I am overblow all of the cost analysis way at the give. So if I overblow all of the cost analysis and there were things that are left out, especially some of them things that we talk about that I did not know about, but I generalize them where I've been talk. In other words, I talk about a complex. So we build a complex, you expect this for accommodate all the things there, and especially with an airport. I don't know about a new river taxi. I don't know about that, but all of these things, even if we not put them inside, the estimate where we give is twice, and in some cases, 3 times the amount. And I'm sure we'll be able to absorb this, and there's going to be much more left. But many thanks again, Sister Letitia. Appreciate you candor and your information. Abdullah Kamara, greetings from France. The amount said is really raising eyeballs. Absolutely, brother Kamara. Ça va, mon ami? Vous allez bien? Ça va, merci. Thanks for tuning in. Martha Bangura is watching. Cisse Alpha. Let's see what Brother Cisse says. I think we should have a private quantity surveyor that will go and assess the entire airport and give it cost. Then we can be on a level playing field. If there are any discrepancies, then they could reduce the time frame instead of 25 years, maybe 20 or 15 years. I think you make a brilliant point, Brother Cisse. Yes, this is quite a brilliant point. Will they be open? Because you see, this is not the challenge where we try for throw. That's why we should not let this thing go away. This is the challenge exactly where we try for throw. As citizens, now obligation on we part. So yes, an independent quantity surveyor, not even one, but like a professional independent quantity surveying team. Yeah, where we not say, when we talk about the word independence, proper independence. A very professional one. Maybe the academy do the COI, because it's now massive money and for 25 years. This is a quarter of a generation. So that's serious. So bring them come from the outside and then can't do the due diligence in terms of the airport. But in the meantime, we'll continue for Rob Mott. But it's a very good point. And Sister Maureen Lovejoy, yes, many thanks. So let me take a quick break. Let me swallow some water quickly, and you can watch the scroller text at the bottom. You can follow us live on Facebook. Please try for Lekwi page. We also did live on YouTube as well. So if you're not only following us on YouTube, which is now generating more numbers than Facebook. Facebook, once upon a time, we were heavy there, but not anymore, it seems like. So we generate more viewers than on YouTube. But we appreciate it. We appreciate that. Please subscribe if you don't subscribe yet, and not only do them alone, ask a friend, a family member for subscribe as well. And not forget to hit the subscription bell on YouTube so that you know wherever miss with future information any longer. Anytime we go live, you will be informed. Another thing I believe say they affect with Facebook. I'm trying to solve the problem, but not yet. For some reason, I'm not able. I get a lot of people and they complain, say, and then they get how you call notification. Before then, when they go live, people as we go live, people then get notification straight away so they can decide whether they want to join or not. And we know say we get a lot of fan base, we get thousands of people and they follow we. But then the numbers just does not add up. So it makes sense that people then they get a notification, that it makes them they join the platform. I still try to solve this problem, especially with Facebook. But many thanks, for tuning in. Once more, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the then and now TNN Media Empire. Today, on the 3rd of April, 2023, me where they talk to now, my name Prince Emil Kroma. Please do not touch that dial. All right, Fambulen le Kabinese. All right, Fambulen le Kabinese. Welcome to the second part of the program. Very happy for Havuna. So I try to share a document with you now. We now based on this document at the talk. So Fambulen self go see them. There are a few things that I want for Leona take note. I think I've made ample progress into the program, but there are tables where I want for Leona take note of. Okay, there are tables where I want for Leona take note of. So I'm going to remove this document in the meantime, but I'm going to come again. Trust me. Okay, I'm definitely going to come again with this document. So stay put. Don't go anywhere. This is not TNN TV Media Empire. Also, we talk based on research analysis, facts. We all square up to the new equation. So, like I've been saying, back to report Famulem. Then cost them at 20 million. So now I want to go to the boarding bridge. It's very important that we talk about the boarding bridge because quite recently, the boarding bridge was a subject of ridicule and a subject of concern because it collapsed. Before I show the boarding bridge and go too deep into the boarding bridge, I want to show the Deputy Minister of Transport and Aviation weigh in at the point outside the bridge collapse for try for explain. A lot of people don't think say he did quite a brilliant job, but of course, what he made in mind most now how for explain things to the Sierra Leonean people, but in a different way where I believe the bulk of the Sierra Leonean people not be appreciated because the facts were there and the explanation was not thorough. So let's listen to the minister.
Anyway, they talk to you now. My name is Rex Bonafa. I'm the Deputy Minister of Transport and Aviation. That are the person or the people that is responsible for air transport, sea transport, and land transport. Yesterday, we see some videos in the make rounds with some mischief makers there. People that will not mean well for this country. People that will not believe in this country. They send that the social media say the bridge where they connect the plane to the terminal building collapse. Secondly, the other video they talk say, the other person inside one other video they even talk say, the runway don't crack. The other one they talk say, ICAO we responsible for regulate air civil aviation all over the world, don't ban to the airport. Then from what they are for telling us, say, notice what it be. The bridge, from the for one way no know, that's where they connect. That's one where they connect the plane to the terminal building. What happened because the first plane they come that way. people the excitement out of that when minutes were unions, they want to see progress. I call them the progressives in this country. Then decide say, let them go see this first plane the candle and then they welcome the passengers. They will not see from the video that will come out on that day, the winner the 25th of this match. When I see people in to line, they even welcome the passenger there. Win a very good thing for the country as well. When they go crowd on one side of the tunnel or the bridge, we make the bridge go down for itself because the hydraulic in the use. Because the bridge them, the way they travel all over, we don't say the bridge the way they just walk through for either access the terminal building or for access the plane. So now that's happening. But that not to be any big thing that they fix that ASAP as soon as possible. They fix that back immediately, and the bridge, the work, and planes they don't can do it from that Saturday we launch and everything is intact. The other post he talks in the thing crack. He say the runway don't crack. Some of them, they when they talk about this, they don't know nothing but they know an iota of information about the airport business, so they don't even know what they talk. The runway, now that's how the plane they can do, and that's how the plane they go again for takeoff. What it can do in speed, it must break, then it taxi now, it can't now by the terminal. That's how we.
Runway just crack, so we all they cannot do for let them fix her. So the bridge broke. The bridge not broke at the new airport right now. So we all they cannot do.
Okay, that was the voice of the Deputy Minister of Transport and Aviation, Rex Bonafan. And like I say again, I don't think he explained he explained well. That's not by my own estimate. Obviously, there are contradictions in what he say. One moment he want to accept say the bridge did collapse and give reason why, and that reason a lot of people kind of had doubts about it, and days on is still people and they talk about them. And the issue here is why I say he not make a better explanation of them, except I get it wrong and I stand to be corrected. Is if people that got him up on the bridge, according to the minister, Mr. Minister, people were so excited. And I think I've been the third 10 days, here from when they open the airport, I think I've been the third flight. Well, they were assuming that the first flight or 10th flight. People so excited when the plane they come, and then come, then breach airport security. Is that what the minister they say? They actually allow people then for go to the tunnel we connect the plane, because now the bridge now connect the plane to the terminal. So in between the plane and the terminal is the bridge will collapse. And when I hear Mr. Minister, he's saying now the people that we come for can greet and overwhelm the bridge, and it make the bridge collapse. Even though at the same time they try to explain something else about collapsing or not collapsing, but were fixed immediately. But the point is, how did you allow people, if I go that far? What about the security of the airport, the passengers, the workers? And we don't say airport now some strict business. Sometimes when you talk about security, you can hear most people can say security airport style, because there are layers and layers of security. And then you allow people to go all the way to, how you call the place, to the boarding bridge, the bridge which separates the aircraft to the terminal. And that bridge, they deposit, now they plane they come back. They wanna work out, wanna come out. Now, in the minister say the people in bridge, then go team up, then they help for collapse. Well, that's on you. Una also see we play one tape with a passenger. Let me play it again. Because the minister talk about somebody say, all along the minister and they say, and language which is very divisive, people well-meaning Sierra Leoneans and not well-meaning Sierra Leoneans. Me go say public officials they need for desist from making such statements. While such statements could be true, you are not in a place and at a time of that kind for the next statements as that, because their statement and they are very divisive. You divide, and I sure say you want for unite. So when you get people who are critical of you or even they laugh at you, because you get an obligation to them, It's not one Sierra Leonean for one set, one salon for one set of Sierra Leonean them and another for another set. No, especially from a government perspective. You are the unifier. You are the government. So ministers don't speak like that. Oh, listen to this lady once more.
The new airport. I know, right? The new airport. The runway just cracked, so we all they cannot do for let them fix her. So the bridge broke. The bridge not broke at the new airport right now. So we all they cannot do.
So, Famula, una can see for yourself, you see there's something about the tapes don't lie. Videos don't lie. And when I say they lie, now how possibly people like you want to use them? Because video evidence can be, but if they doctor them, they can change them from yes to no, from left to right, if you know what I mean, for favor the objective for which it is being doctored. But on a note, you just take them, splice dice them. Obviously, they tell you what the video is about. So you clearly hear a passenger there saying, separating the bridge from the runway. She said those two things. The bridge collapsed. Apparently, maybe on the same day, there is a crack on the airport, or maybe it misread them or something else. But there were two issues we've been ascribed to. And the minister can address them two issues in day. But this is the airport where cost we 270 million. 300 million. And let we continue where we left off. And Usa Obide, Napane Bridge. They talk about how it became a ridicule on social media. We make Mr. Minister not too happy by describing well-meaning Sierra Leoneans from non-well-meaning Sierra Leoneans because of that. I don't think it was a good thing if Sierra Leoneans were laughing at that, because that wasn't funny if the bridge broke. But these two people are in politics, the APC and SLPP, and their followers always ridicule each other. So, waiting and tell me about the bridge, they say it cost $750,000 a piece. And two of them we get. So, if we multiply 750 times 2, which means that we have a cost of 1.5 million. Again, this is now another ridiculous charge. And Sister Letitia, I hope you still listen, because here goes the case again. This bridge, where you buy na Alibaba, is clear. It. Let me see if I'm able to offend somewhere they talk. So we get two of them. Then two then cost, according to government of Salone and how you call the people them, Suma Brothers, then cost $750,000. That's close to $1 million for a bridge. Now, this is very ridiculous in the sense for a bridge. How many meters away from the plane to that? What you make it so costly? But of course it's not, because the facts are on Alibaba, what we go see shortly. You know what tell me say a bridge cost past a mansion, probably in some posh places them na Europe. We get houses that are very expensive, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, and beyond the pale, 20 million, 30 million. We're not even talk about that, but we know say for 750 million, you can get a mansion of your own with multiple bedrooms and toilets and a land space. How can one bridge cost $750,000? Now that I want for Leona reflect on. I hope that sinks. Times 2, 1.5 million. No, that's difficult to swallow. And again, only the invoices, or like somebody suggests, a brother suggests in the program, the need for bring in independent quantity surveyors for can help we for understand how much was actually spent based on their experience then they will and they can express. That's what we want to see. So in the meantime, let me take a look at some bridges. Let me share this portfolio with you quickly. Okay. Let me share this with Fambulen quickly about bridges. Okay. Now take a look at this. This one an airport na Victoria Falls, and I believe say this na Zimbabwe. Look at the bridge connecting two ends. Look at the length of the bridge. So you know, see the length and the quality of is completely different to what we see under. This one is glass. Most times when we say we don't travel, it's glass. You walk out, you actually they see out, and I know they say it can be something else. But the more quality it is, the more probably it will cost. But 750,000, we go say no. So you just have a look at this for yourself. Passenger bridges for all weather, comfortable and safe walkway between terminal and aircraft, but also flexible and cost-efficient solution for individual in airport planning and apron layout. So that apron outside that plane, they can taxi and come. Outside they connect the bridge now to the terminal. So portable water system, visual guidance, docking system, all of that you get. And you can see different bridges as well. Now, let me show Una one more bridge again, if I will. Let me see whether I can show one more bridge, if I will. We probably look almost like ours. And then maybe we'll go na Alibaba quickly and see the cost. Or Una Sef. Let's not be lazy, Sierra Leoneans. Let's not be lazy. Una Sef, Una have a quick look na Alibaba. Put boarding bridges. They come up quickly. And then you can make up your mind. Yeah? You can make up your mind. Yeah. Let's see this one. What does it look like? Yeah. What does this one look like? Una bear with me, yeah? So there we go. This one I look like we own. Not so? To me, it looked like we own. In terms of the size, short, you know, from the airport to, the airport, terminal to the plane, or vis-a-vis plane to airport. So go Alibaba and just look at the cost. But guess what? We were told that this bridge cost 750,000 a piece, and we get two. My simple mathematics tells me that times 2, 750 times 2 is 1,500. In this case, 1.5 million, 750,000 a piece, 1.5 million. That's ridiculous. That could buy you a house here, where I am. 2 houses, 3 houses, depending on outside the BAM. Could buy you a good house, okay? So this is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous for a boarding bridge for cost $750,000. Could be a laughing stock because of this, okay? So you can see from the picture that I show now that a boarding bridge can be something, you know, at a try for estimates, 750 per unit. Yeah, a boarding bridge, as you can see, 750 per unit. When I see the picture just now. So the estimate cost for the 2 years of construction time, now I want to go to now. So audience are the big. I want to listen to this keenly because I don't think I go even done this. I go actually get for finish them off tomorrow. Finally, dust off this airport project after making my case because there are a few things like the thing where the sister Letitia say. Now the platform I take on board, I go get for look into tonight and tomorrow before I come again for finalize this airport project and once and for all. So we look at the estimate cost for the 2 years of construction time. Now, every cost we double them, like I mean, say earlier on. So whether then they can build something else as part of the complex, remember say they don't price the airport already. It's been priced already. So that price they will give, I believe say it encompass everything else we're supposed for dinner at airport day. So we want to look at substance, we want to look at quantity, we want to look at survey, or we want to look at cost, and we want to look at other things then we sort of directly attach or concern this airport project. All of which I talk about, so a concern the part 1 of waiting I do. I take a time again for break and down, even though we don't do one before, and much appreciated. That video there was a hit in a sense that many calls, many messages, and for all those who absorb them, we send messages and calls, you know, appreciating what was done. Can I use the opportunity for congratulate you now? Thank you very much. So all of which I talk about, so you can find them on YouTube and Facebook on part 1 of the program we'll do earlier. I'll not forget for check them up. Maybe I will get for post the link down on this video on YouTube and Facebook as well at some point. Hopefully I not forget. For we salon audience, we may not convert some of the clip then because we know say it's difficult for people in down there in terms of data, the cost for data, and especially the cost of living crisis. So for let person go buy data for download a video, upload a video, and watch them for that period of time, it's just going to eat up your data. So what we do, we cut the video short into 3-4 minutes burst, in some cases 2 minutes, and we convert them into MP4. So by the time you click on them, it's ready to play. You don't need for download, upload, it's ready to play. Now let's move on to cost benefit analysis. Very important. What if I will need for know is that for let we do with cost and benefit analysis, we get for express the cost of we initial investment. And not only the initial investment, but also the cost for running the project. So running cost plus initial investment, we don't do that calculation there. Now in go able for give we an outline of waiting our cost benefit analysis. So this is what we are going to do for establish this. Remember, say in part 1 or even now, I don't establish the initial investment cost. Now I want to take una to 3 options way available, and I want to show this on the screen. So now bear with me again. Let me try to find this document and share them on the screen to fumble them. Now bear with me, please, if you will. Let me find this option that I want to talk about so that we all go be a participant of some sort. Okay. Now this is what I want to talk about. Let's reduce it. Good. Good. Okay. Let's play it one more time. Yeah, that should be fine. And that should appear on your screen shortly. This will appear on your screen shortly. Yes, it should appear on your screen shortly. Sorry for the delay. There are many files open and they try for make sure say I come and present to una waiting exactly una suppose for C. So where was I? I mean, they talk about not the net benefit analysis. I mean, they talk about the table. Yes, they talk about cost analysis, not net benefit analysis. We need for take note of the words in the okay. So I mean, they say we don't establish the initial investment cost. So I mean, one follow we'll go to the 3 options. Then we're available. Waiting at them 3 options there. Now let's take a look quickly. Part 1, we've been do that. Even though I talked today on all of the issues there in terms of correcting a lot of things or fine-tuning a lot of things, and not go back to with table, we graph them. But I'll do this quickly. So when we talk about table 1, we'll talk about cost for land, which is 0 because the country now get the land. Cost for stone and sand, we get enough. I hope saying nobody can come from abroad. So we say 0. Cost for transporting the stone at $1 million. Shipping cost to bring materials used in Sierra Leone at $1 million per 100 containers at 10,000 per container. Shipping cost, look at the una the see for una self. So I go scroll slowly while una continue for absorb this. Okay. I'll scroll slowly while una continue for absorb this. And also say again, I mean get beaucoup messages from people then we say, well, you need for color which is true. You need for zoom so we were able to see because the last time it was a bit small. So now we are not color today because I don't get time for do this, but at least we're able for zoom on them. We're able for zoom on them so I can see. So this is the thing that I talk about, for brush up part 1 where I do now una they see so inside the table. Because I want for them to be a physical part of the program. by seeing exactly what they talk about. You can dispute this, but remember, say you have to count you counter evidence. Like Sister Letitia, I don't want to say it dispute this. It sounds very much like she was trying to help. Say, well, you can make your estimate, but already I know you factor certain things inside. So therefore, I'm going to put a question mark on this. A river taxi or hotel, these were not mentioned. So if you're not mentioned, that means the costs are short. But what I will say to the sister as well is we overbloat the estimate twice, in some cases 3 times. Okay, so when I don't see cement for laying blocks, cement for blocks, what I talk about, cement for laying blocks, cement for plastering and flooring, iron rods and other irons, computer system and TV screens. Not be need for go over this because it was well attended to the first time. Baggage and carousels, I did talk about that, and that was addressed very well. We know say we get 2, and we know say that price there as well appear like to have been over bloated. So we research material on Alibaba and other sites, and baggage carousels, and the one where we get exactly, we see them, we know them, or types of that kind. So the kind of estimate what they give we a way above something else, estimated that each will cost like let me see the cost estimate here for the carousels at 35,000 based on internet Alibaba. That's what we saw, and then put them at 70,000. Therefore, no say there's a price cost analysis or comparison here. So one, the government and Suma Brothers, and then my own costing. Plumbing, 50,000 approximately. Electrical cable, circuit board, switches, 300,000 approximate figure. And that brings me to 16,801,000 and some more. So we come, remember, say I talk about bitumen, then a coulter, asphalt for paved area that we need paving, including the taxi and runway and paving of other area them, like the car park and etc. We assume that 4 million meter square area was paved, and other area them, and you can follow. That's what I read from now. I just highlight them. So you see for yourself. Have you got any dispute to this? Please feel free to get in touch. Please. Okay. And then we kaya escalator. We talk about that nicely the other day. We even shown a diagrams from Alibaba. And are they they buy from? Yeah. So 30,000 and estimate 60,000. Cost for 1.8 meter, megawatt solar power panels, 540,000, 1.8 megawatts equal 1,800,000 watts at 30 cents per watt. When I talk about all this, you can have a look for yourself. And like I say again, we still look for people and for newspapers to go hopefully publish this document. So I can see all of this. So they come to labor. I talk about labor the other day for Suma staff. So we don't talk about all of this anyway. Don't talk about all of this. Government estimate 270 million for the project. So we'll talk about cost and benefit analysis of the new Freetown Airport at 70 million, 69 million. Yeah? Then I double the cost. So we say we get 3 options, and this is not the place where we want to bring una come. We don't talk about initial investment plus running cost for up to 25 years. Now, quickly, let me bring myself back on screen instead of just talking in the background. Bear with me 1 minute, please, if you will. Bear with me 1 minute. Yes, there I am. So yes, now this now we talk about not so. So we say we don't establish the initial investment cost. So I want to go to the 3 options then where we get available as soon as I can see now on our screen. Option number 1 is $35 million, which is the actual cost of the project. Option 2, we double them. When I read the options then at the table, I can follow the talk, but the table in at the screen, so I can actually follow that as well. Option 2, we say $70 million. We don't double. We don't double them. What will double? If the initial cost now been 35 million, and we say we want double that cost day for provide for any other thing that we left out, which I've been trying to say earlier, especially to a sister we make the contribution, it now arrived at 70 million. Option 3, now the cost of the airport as per government of Salone and Suma Brothers, which is 207. We now know it's $300 million because it didn't have the parliamentary document. Now, with the total cost, for able for compare the cost benefit analysis. So what they can do now for do the needful by doing 2 analysis and the running cost. This 9 are the needful if we want to arrive at the established cost. So what I don't do investment cost in part 1. First broadcast I behold. Now here I try for tidy up with all the boku talk I do. I try for tidy up. You can find that broadcast day on YouTube and Facebook. You will find for let you follow from there so that you not just jump into this one day into. Now, that cost in the end at $35 million. The running cost for each option for every 5-year fambulem we cost them at 10 million. Now listen again. The running cost for every option where you look at your table, where you see at the table, so within your screen, we cost them 10 million for every 5 year. In other words, running cost for the airport every 5 year is at 10 million. And again, for the benefit of the naysayers, this number we blow them up twice, and in some cases 3 times, and we will come to that shortly. So if the duration of this contract between the government of Sierra Leone and that of Suma Brothers is 25 years, and the running cost, we guesstimate them at $10 million for every 5 year. 5 times 5 is equal to 25, which means that this 10 million will run at 5 times. So every 5 years is 10 million. So that cost day, 5 times of that cost day, will give we 50 million. 50 million. So that's now the cost for running that airport day for the duration of the agreement. 50 million with every year costing, every 5 years, which is 60 months, costing $10 million. Again, bear in mind that then 3 options in there, they're very important. Now, I want for let we pay attention to option 1, please, if we can. Let's see whether I'm able for blow up option 1. Am I able to blow up option 1? Probably, yes. If I go too deep with the loser, but at least when I can see the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 table, which is table 1, table A, amount of initial investment per option in United States dollars. This is the universal form of transaction. The running cost years, that's between 1 to 5, and the figure now you see this. So option 1, option 2, option 3. The running cost from year 6 to year 10, now you see this. So, okay. Really need for break this down, and I hope say family and the fella. Now, before I go break down proper to famulem with this 3 option them within on a screen. If we look at option 1, I repeat, the grand total cost now 85 million. Now some people don't get confused as to waiting 85 million. Remember I say earlier on we say the cost now 35 million, option 1. How come now you talk about 85 million? I can understand the misunderstanding, but I also they in a position for making straightforward for their family to understand. Remember, say we talk about running cost. So the initial investment cost now 35 million, And then when we look at the running cost over a 5-year period, or 10-year period, a 15-year period, 20, 25-year period, which is the duration of the contract, at 10 million every 5 years, every 60 months as running cost, and you get 5 of them, 5-year period in there at 10 million. So the total now come to 50 million, just the running cost. If you add the running cost to your investment cost, it gives you that in that total day of 85 million. So 35 plus 50, you 85 million. The same is true of the second part, option 2. So option 2 now $70 million. And we actually double the cost, because if option 1 will be seen at 35 million, again for cover cost, we say 70 million, just in case we left something behind, just in case we underprice something. And we talk about millions, so we're able to cover that. So 70 million, we don't double the actual cost. Then we avoid unnecessary argument. Plus the running cost for the next 25 years. Remember, the figure is the same running cost for every other 5-year period. It's 10 million. If it's 50 million for 25 years for option 1, the same is true for option 2, and the same is true for option 3. Just that the money they get more expensive, because option 2 now has 70 million. If you add the running cost to option 2 in initial investment, 70 plus 50 gives you $120 million. Option 3, this is not government own initial investment. The one we tell we see 9 they don't spend so far by the airport, 270 million. If you take that 270 million day, you add 50 million as running cost over the next 25 years, the total, grand total will come to $320 million. And a government owned that day. So what we don't show is that for me, I come up with a figure of 35 million over the next 25 years. Plus, if you add the running cost day, it don't go to 85 million. Let us not forget that. I repeat this part because when it comes to figures, we all can get confused. And that including myself who's presenting this. And that's something I don't go over and over and over. So there's a lot of it which is now familiar in my head. So from year 1, now that they see at the graph, so from year 1 to year 5, you get $10 million where represent running cost. From year 6 to year 10, you get another 10 million where amount to the running cost. From year 11 to year 15, you get another 10 million. The money is the same. The running cost figure is the same. The years change because now a 25-year period. In year 20, you get another 10 million. From year 17 to year 20, you get another 10 million. And from year 21 to year 25, you get another 10 million. This total 25 years. And that grand total day for the conduction of the maintenance, the running of the airport, along with the initial investment, before the initial investment is 50 million. So with the 3 options, if you add the initial investment to the running cost of 50 million, now so you will see the money they go. Option 1, 35 million plus 50, 85. Option 2, with the money double, 70 million plus the running cost 50 million, 120 million. Option 3, which is 270 million according to government, add 50 million there, which is the running cost, it goes to 320 million. Now let's move on the basis of assumption that we get about 150 domestic employee them, Sierra Leonean employee them at the airport, which I don't believe that they are 150. Again, wild estimate, reasonable estimate rather. So for all them 150 domestic employees in there, I put their salary at $900,000, almost $1 million. But for good reasons, we cap them at 900,000. So every 5 years, this is what the employees at 150 of them are paid. The argument that this number of employees they will create, again, I take out a pinch of salt. But again, for avoid the naysayers, we say, okay, no problem. 150 people, them Sierra Leoneans, them are working there. But the point here is, with that estimate that we give in terms of payment for these people, 150 of them, and $900,000, now they pay them over every 5 years, even if we're to quadruple that number, or for modesty's sake, triple that number of employee them, 150 to 450, 150 times 3, 450, we still they run at a surplus. But this not to the reality, because again, that money they was say run at a surplus, that money the 900,000 were able to cover that number of local employees. We now move on to experts, international staff, SUMA staff. One day when they bring come for can work because Sierra Leoneans cannot fill in that capacity. So we estimate again, say about 50 expert workers were brought in by SUMA Construction. And we put their wages at $1,000 a month. This is reasonable because when they look at the GDP of the country, gross domestic product, and the average salary where people in the earn and whose kind of job they can do when they earn waiting. We feel say £1,000 a month, dollars a month, is reasonable. And if we pay $1,000 a month times 50 workers for 50 expatriate workmen, them, the total for a month could be something like $50,000. $50,000 for 50 of them at $1,000 per individual monthly. Now, if we multiply that 50,000 times 60 months, the 60 months represent 5 years period. That go give we, bear with me. And the problem and they will figure. So 50,000 when I represent 50 workmen them at $1,000 a head times 60 months, which is 5 years, that's about $3 million. $3 million. So when we look at the running costs, we at the work done so, the wages for Sierra Leonean workman them are 900,000, and the foreign workman them are 3 million. These two now 5 years old, 60 months each. Now we look at so. So we use this for plug for every other 5 year over the next 25 years period. What do I mean by this? The same number where we get. Remember, we do them over 60-month period. In other words, we pay the foreign workman them 1,000 for one person, 50 of them, 50,000. 50,000 times 60 months, 3 million. Salon workman them, we pay 150 of them, 900,000 every 5 years. So we don't broke down the running cost between the workman there, and we program for the next 25 years. So nothing not really changed. Probably inflation, cost of inflation might take salary up a bit. But for now, over the 25 years, this is what we've got. So we factor this inside the 10 million in terms of all these running costs. Remember 10 million. And even the 10 million is blown out of proportion because when we do with due diligence and broken down, we find out, say, we even get more left. So if you look at option 3, also we include 2 million for overall maintenance, whether not vehicle maintenance or just general maintenance, and for the running basically of the airport, we still get roughly about 3 million left. And if I break this down again, like for example, I say the 10 inside that 10 million day, you pull 900,000 for the salon workman them, you pull $3 million for the expatriates them, the people and way Suma brother them bring over a period of 5 years, and you put 2 million for maintenance. All this is bloated and exaggerated, and it really not rich. Plus $1.1 million. Then all of that, it actually look like say it's about 6 million. So you see, we get an excess of about 4-3 million we left. Okay, 4-3 million. So that 3 million we left back, you can take and plug on some side just in case there is a shortfall. But the assurance with this giveaway is there's always this excess, so you don't need more money any other side. And it did within this realm of underestimate, where we estimate cost for the airport at less than $50 million. Do you allow use this opportunity for remind the audience again that for let we arrive at this, we get for do cost benefit analysis. And for do the cost benefit analysis, we need for calculate the total cost. And when we calculate the total cost, we go able to see clearly that the investment and how much it will take for run the business for the duration of the project, and in this case of the airport, 25 years, then I clearly we don't lay down before una so. After we don't arrive with the breakdown, now the only time where you go able to see or compare whether the project is worthwhile or it is not. In other words, easily put, does the project, the cost of this particular project, does it outweigh the benefits? That's the case that we are making. And you can make the decision yourself. Now, let me move on to table 3. Let me get this table off. While I will go to table 3, there are a few tables here. And I will left from at table 3 for today, because there's one more table for let we cover. So if we now take a look at table 3, it talk about the percentage change of the estimated total cost versus the government own total cost. Now let's have a look again. What does it actually say, or what are they try for say? Table 3, we don't show we or try for tell you about percentage change. It show how government of Salone and Suma Brothers, how then you estimate a past million estimate what they give. Now table 3 they show so family really take a look at that. Now, if we go back to option 1 quickly, it says that the investment and running cost is equal to 85 million. Remember, again, not ever forget this, the running cost and the initial investment cost. Initial investment cost, as per my estimate, 35 million. Running cost over a 5-year period is 50 million. So you get 85 million. Government of Salone and Suma Brothers, their own total cost now $320 million. The difference between these two in percentile terms or percentage terms is 376%. Now, what in this do, it make we own cost estimate 3 times less than the cost of government, than government own cost. Option 2, if you look at your estimate from that broke down what I give you, so it show. Look at the graph. Look at the table on the screen. It show that my estimate is 2.6. Then option 2, 2.6 times lesser. So you get government you we say 266%. 266%. And government you say. Option 1, 85 million. Suma Brothers and government 320 million. Percentage terms, it means 376% of government, which shows million cost estimate 3 times lesser than option 1. Option 2 is show me option 2.6 times lesser because they talk about government own at 266%. So if we amount the first comparison, we do again at some time ago, the total cost, when we look at table 3, it will now make sense for let we move on because we don't do the cost, benefit, and running analysis. It makes sense that we move on to the benefit. And why would they do so again? Just like I said, because we don't establish the total cost. The total cost is equivalent to the investment, initial investment, plus the running cost. There are 3 categories where we need to understand of total cost. So you don't see them 3 things and then 3 table and they all get the options from 1 to 3 and we can use any one of them. But for be conservative enough, we decide for use option 1, which is 85 million. Option 2, before option 1. Option 1 is 85 million. Option 2 is 120 million. Option 3 is 320 million. These 3 figures now initial investment cost and running cost. So we don't see that we get these 3 options with discretion. But like I say again, for be very professional and for be conservative, we decide for use the middle option. I'm deciding to use the middle option, which is option number 2. And when you use this option number 2, or they use the option number 2, simply for avoid, benefit of the doubt, for give the benefit of the doubt, for, avoid argument. So I take the middle option when option number 2. I also want for the family and bear in mind that the total cost of 10 million, remember say I explained that, say he overestimated when at the running cost, because at one point when we do a calculation, we find out, say, that about 3-4 million is left in excess. We can plug on different side if there is a necessity, but there is always excess. Okay. Now let me take a direct look at the benefit over 25 years and total cost. What I do for analyze the benefit of the airport project is I estimate, say, 10 plane they land na the country every week. Again, na estimate, guesstimate. But it bordered on relevant facts. Because for sure, we know how many planes they go na the country on a weekly basis. And therefore can make a calculation on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and therefore we can make a calculation over a year period if nothing happens. So this is where the guesstimate comes from. The guesstimate again is to how many passengers then plane there where they come, they bring. And I want for them to hear me out. Let's get this table out of the way. Bear with me. Let's get this table out of the way. We'll end soon. Let's get this table out of the way. So I know say when I don't absorb this enough. When I don't absorb this enough. So let's get this table out of the way. So yes, there I am. So in doing all of this, family, we talk about, we get for make estimate about many things them way they generate the revenue when they come to the airport. Now, we talk about the benefit of the airport project over the 25-year period when at the lifetime of the airport. You know me say, you know, get for go beyond that. Who say the lifetime for now is leased to other people that way they run them way. Everything what they make, they go to them. So when they make that analysis, when they talk about 10 plane landings every week. Now, Lungi na 10 plane in the come. I want to also look at the estimate as per cargo. And I talk about consignments, where cargo come, now consignments and they bring. And I put them at 500 consignments. We country busy in some sense, of course, it's open to the market. What you know include now is benefit where they arise from merchandising and advert. In other words, say airport can always get places where they sell coffee, bread, chips and chicken and fish and this and that, and boutiques and saloons. I mean, basically, I make them call them complex. So I not factor that inside this report, which means that whatever, because some people don't take places inside the airport, we understand say very costly, but whatever the people that way they make the money from the airport are making now, we not factor this inside this report at all. And as such, again, once more, I am being very conservative with the figures here. So all things, including the running cost, I do them on the basis of 5 years times 5. Remember, not ever forget, the duration of the contract between government of Sierra Leone or the people of Sierra Leone and Suma Brothers is 25 years. 25 years. But everything is plugged in a 5-year period. You get for break and down. You can't just say 25 years because it gives you chance for you able to do your calculations well and your projections well as well. Okay, that's very important. Ça c'est très important. Okay, battery they run low. Forgive me. Yeah. Bear with me 1 minute, please. We end the show. We end the show soon. Now the final part now they will do so now. We'll not the final part. Okay. Right. So the calculation we will use for the first 5 year, now we use throughout for complete the 25-year period, and we try for remain consistent. One of the benefits as well is every time we plane land and take off, that's a benefit. Now, let's bring the final part of the final table to now. We're not table 4. I go on for let view this little bit. And just before again, I go to table 4. I want to play Mr. Minister. It's important.
In the afternoon, in a good evening. This is a short message will come out from me for 2 minutes. This message that will make clarification on some rumors that and videos that will make rounds on the social media. Me when they talk to you now, my name is Rex Bonafa. Me are the Deputy Minister of Transport and Aviation. That are the possible or are the people that is so responsible for air transport, sea transport, and land transport. Yesterday we see some videos in the make rounds with some mischief makers there. People that will not mean well for this country. People that will not believe in this country. They say that the social media say the bridge where they connect the plane to the terminal building collapse. Secondly, the other video they talk say, the other person they say one other video they even talk say, the runway don't crack. The other one they talk say, ICAO we responsible for regulate air civil aviation all over the world. Don't ban to the airport. But from what they have for telling us, say, not so it be. The bridge, from the phone way no, that's where they connect. That's one where they connect the plane to the terminal building. What's happened because the first plane will come that day. People the excitement out of that and when minutes readiness they want to see progress. They are calling the progressives in this country. Then decide say.
All right, we don't hear Minister, Papa Minister too much, and we get the gist of the story. Depends on what you make of it. This is not table 4 now. Now they see now on a screen. Let me see if I can widen them here a bit. Let me see whether if I can widen them a bit. If I widen them, I'm not going to see very much, but at least when I go see the first 5 parts of them, so we can deal with that, which is gross revenue from year 1 to 5. Yeah, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, and then 21 to 25, which you know they see. Maybe I'll go get for close and down for let when I see that. But this is quite important. So let me move on again to the analysis before we come to the end of the program. This is quite important, and hopefully we'll pay attention to this one. The final part. If you look at the table, then you will see. So part of the benefit is landing and taking off of airplanes. So as per estimate again, we say that every time we plane land, okay, take a look at column 4. We look at a total of 504 passengers on the basis of 10 plane landings. And if 10 plane land, with the estimates that they carry 200 passengers every week. Not every week, rather, every day. So if we get 10 plane landings every week at 200 passengers per week, so that 10 plane day, each, not 200 passengers per the 10 plane. One plane, they bring 200 passengers them. So 10 plane, when they talk about in a week, we get something like 2,000 passengers them. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied now. So 2,000 passengers every week. Every month, if we multiply that number there by 4.2 weeks, what we will get now, it will equal to 8,400 passengers. 8,400 passengers. Now we go get, which represents a month. So a week, we get 2,000 passengers on the basis of 10 plane landing, where they carry 200 passengers per plane. So we look over 60 months period. Remember, I said we don't count to a month by 4.2 weeks. 8,400 passengers. If we multiply that one day, 8,400 passenger them by 60 months. So that's 8,400 times 60. The 60 months, obviously, not ever forget that's 5 years. Absolutely, that's 5 years. $60 months, that's 5 years, and we get 8,400. For multiply that by, obviously, what we do now have is like 504,000 passengers every 5 years over a 60 months period. That's what we have. And this analysis is based on we get 10 plane where they can land every week, and every plane will land and they carry not less than 200 passengers. So on a weekly basis, we get 2,000 passengers per 10 plane carrying 200 passengers. And on a monthly basis, multiply that 2,000 day by 4.2 weeks, we get 8,400 passenger then. And if we multiply that 8,400 passenger a day by 5 years or times 60 months, 504,000 passengers, a little over 500,000 passengers then. Now they get over that 5-year period. This calculation will just give a reflect to benefit. And for now, I want end on here, but as soon as I can see, when I go actually see say the table continue, and I just want scroll down on the table quickly for showing us I just less part left where I will brush off probably tomorrow at about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. We will be the final part and not long like this one because Mr. SF really want to finish with this program now. And it's been running for quite a while, but hopefully it should finish very, very soon. So family, like I say, now the table is, yeah. Of course, I don't pull and accommodate. We'll go over way we come back again to that point there, which will possibly tomorrow. I'm gonna look out for the announcement where we go do. We'll do a program on Dr. Samora very soon, whether in faith is sealed. Inside there, we'll go rub mud on the chancery, what happened at the chancery, what happened yesterday. Of course, yesterday we'll also do another video. Family, I want to use this opportunity for say thanks to all those who we kind of tune into the program. I really do appreciate you now. And we're doing this because of, I believe, loyalty to country, not individuals, neither parties. So just before I go, the last 4 comments, let's just see what they say. Yeah, we have a few comments here. I will reflect on these comments if we can. That's Yans, is a regular on the platform. The president and his family will not be paying this debt. The burden will be on ordinary Sierra Leoneans. First paragraph, I absolutely agree. This is why it's incumbent upon us, Yans, for continue to talk about them and challenge them, let them come out and tell me exactly. But it not end there, because again, at the end of this program, we hopefully I will do tomorrow. Now, who that they actually benefit, not only benefit because they were benefactors, apart from the citizens, but who that they get for benefits out of this program over the 25-year period? Who that they really, have we considered this? The investment, the stakes. Have people bought stakes? Are people going to be deriving dividend from the airport based on the deal where they do, where they go to them every year for the rest of their lives, including them picking them? Have we thought about this? This is deep, but many times for that huge debt should be better spent on health case, roads, electricity, education, fuel, etc., rather than airports. We don't need for now. Scale of preference should be the priority of any serious government. Absolutely. And again, this is something where I reflect with you, especially where a previous airport project was cancelled. So scale of priority, like how you put it's about health. It's about health. The health system is woeful, it's down. 300 million. So it's not like we don't need a modern airport and compete with others, but was it a priority? Of course, tomorrow belongs to those who are prepared today. But what about electricity? Where the airport get for power by? What about education? The president in flagship program, how is it going? Cost of fuel, subsidies, and etc. Thanks, Yans. Once more, I think Jan's got another one. Prince Krumah, 90% of the people don't know exactly the protocol of arriving and departing flights. These foolish politicians always fool the people. You're not far away from the truth, my brother. Joe Cabs Jr., I don't believe this airport even cost 100 million. That's the point that we are trying to make, Joe Cabs Jr. Thank you very much for your sentiment expressed. Mohammed Kamara, in my opinion, the new airport terminal is overpriced and a bad deal. However, it is better to have it than having funds diverted into private bank accounts of greedy politicians and leaving the masses with nothing. At least we have a prestigious terminal. Yes, the brother make quite a good point. Love this. This not really stop this not really stop we from asking the questions. But yes, I do appreciate and accept the point you make. Instead of flight of capital, flight of the money into foreign account banks for go profit other entity them, it's better than a structure stands there, even at the exorbitant price. It's damn if we do, damn if we don't. In this case, although it is a bad deal, and the brother makes the point very clear, but it's equally not a good deal for us. But at least we've got it on our ground, and on our grounds rather. And in 25 years' time, 25 years, I'm not sure I will be around. But of course, children, and Lungi International Airport will be there long after we will have been gone. Before I leave, I've been just want to show one more document, and the document for Parliament for tell you. I mean, the government doesn't do this on their own. That first of all, every agreement it get for meet parliamentary approval. So you go to Parliament and debate they agree, say, well, we will go ahead with this project and not stall the president or the ruling party in project. So we could go along with them. But the project is not in the benefit of the nation, or the charges are so woeful and are sure. Were there structural engineers, were there professionals, were there accountants, were there surveyors inside the parliamentary committee we finally draft and approve this? Were there? Because now with the CC, a lot of Sierra Leoneans agree, say, no, this wasn't, a good deal, even though we get the airport. But having said this again, it shows the complicity of Parliament. And let me see if I can find this parliamentary document quickly and show on to Fambulem. Let me see if I can find this parliamentary document and show on quickly to Fambulem. And then we will leave the broadcast at that, I believe. MPs. Is it this one? Yes, this one, but unfortunately it's not scrolling. So what's in on our screen so Fambulem now? The parliamentary document sent to me by a friend regarding the agreement on this airport. So that's why I take say 300 million, still counting. It's not done yet. Is it worth 300 million? That's another. But this showed that Parliament approve of them. So not only the president no more just come and say, well, power, you had the build the airport, whether Parliament no. Parliament is always in complicity with all the things that way they happen. The selling of Black Johnson Beach, where we go do again shortly. We're going to do that because that's the thing. They know we can come up with this upset and fury and huff and puff. And they know that they're going to get away with it because somewhere along the line, we get other things then for do, so we will move on, and then they get away with it. But again, I want to say thank you to all those who tuned in today. Thank you so much. And not forget, please take a look at the ticker screen. You will see you can follow us or contact us at the email there, thenandnow.community@gmail.com. We'd expect a website out soon, hopefully, God willing. You can look up YouTube. That's the address there. We get over 500 videos and still counting on YouTube. Please try to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And please persuade a friend, a cousin, brother, relative, family to also participate by, subscribing to our channel. Please hit the notification bell. So next time when we go on, automatically you will receive the notification, and it's up to you whether you want to watch or not. You can also follow me on Twitter. And that's my Twitter address there at 1P for interesting commentary. It's no longer on a daily basis. It used to be on a daily basis, but I'm caught out between work and what I do with these things. I also got a page on Instagram, TikTok, Telegram channel, and LinkedIn. You can find me in all those social media handles. But for now, this is it. It's been a Den and Now production. And my name is Prince Emil Cromer. Can I say, until we catch up again, Sierra Leoneans, be wise, be smart, be brilliant, ask for redemption, do the right thing, be prudent, and in so doing, show love and compassion, put country first. We will prevail only if we apply these principles. This has been a Den and Now TNN TV production. Until we catch up again very, very soon. Goodbye for now. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. That's the end of it for today.